Hi everyone, I run a unique souvenir shop called California Store in the Nakameguro Ginza shopping street of Tokyo. People know me as the shopkeeper. It means playfully risque in Japanese. Great to meet you all. In our store, you'll find a curated selection of offbeat vintage antiques that lean toward the playfully risque, as well as an entire range of original t-shirts and other printed tops. I personally design each piece and handprint it myself, ensuring that everything we offer feels truly one of a kind. We also have souvenirs featuring Nakameguro designs. Our product range is designed to be unique and memorable. Our shop is called California Store because I source all of the antiques directly from California. Back in the day, San Francisco used to have rows of small booth-style t-shirt stalls, and I took inspiration from that scene when setting up this place. A regular customer started calling me shopkeeper, and the name just caught on. I've adopted it as my shop name since then. My staff, a surfer, and I run the shop together. She's known as Surfer Girl, and I'm shopkeeper. So when I refer to my staff member, I just take the daughter part from Surfer Girl, and since it's a hassle, I end up just saying daughter. In rural areas, people often compliment my staff as if she were my daughter, which makes her feel a bit sad. I came to open this shop after spending many years working in the apparel industry and nurturing a deep love for vintage clothing. Back then, I often visited countless vintage stores, but time and again, I'd encounter incredible pieces that were off limits, kept behind glass, or simply not for sale because they were meant only as display items. That recurring disappointment eventually inspired me to create my own space where people could actually take home the pieces they genuinely adored instead of leaving empty-handed. Our antique selection is extremely simple, just one erotic piece at a time. I'm personally drawn to the styles of the 70s and sometimes the 80s. So many of the other antiques and knickknacks here reflect those eras. Expect a selection that's distinctly retro, mixing those vintage vibes into our overall look. As for our original t-shirts and prints, to be honest, many feature a playful, risque element. I handprint every single one, typically using Gildan blanks. We only display one piece of each design in the shop, but customers can place custom orders, like turning a t-shirt design into a long sleeve or vice versa. So you can end up with a piece that feels truly yours. Here's the entrance to the store. I've placed 2 chairs out front so you can relax, take a breather, and soak in the atmosphere before stepping inside. It's a very small shop. The store's name, California Store, is written here, with the initials CS included. When the interior decorator came by, a painter who was helping out offered to paint this as a freebie. We're open from 1 p.m. to around 8 or 10 p.m., so feel free to stop by. We'll be waiting for you. In this area, you'll see our trademark risque items. For example, these pieces might look like regular mugs, but they're actually milk pitchers, shaped like breasts. These cheeky designs have become one of our shop's staples. Most of these playful pitchers hail from around the 1980s, and I make sure to keep them stocked at all times. Over here we have the printed sweatshirts I mentioned earlier, and below are hoodies. We don't really do seasonal rotations. Everything stays out year-round, so you're free to browse them anytime. At most, I might swap items around from one spot to another, but that's all. This means you can pick up a sweatshirt or hoodie in the middle of summer or buy a t-shirt in winter. Check this one out. It's called Beer Butt. As you can guess, it's a playful nod to beer and a backside. Honestly, most of our designs run along these humorous lines. We don't handle standard, off-the-shelf prints. Everything here is original. Hanging from the ceiling are vintage caps plus a few original pieces sprinkled in. Most of these date back to the 80s, adding another layer of that retro appeal. Here's an item that, as you can see, comes with a bra motif. If you remove it, there's a hidden detail underneath. I won't spoil it, You'll just have to come and see it for yourself. I just keep collecting weird stuff like that. In this showcase, you'll find the full lineup of a brand called Better Jewelry, created by a friend of mine. We're essentially the only store carrying the entire range. My friend makes each piece by hand. They're not risque like our other offerings, but they're certainly unique and brim with personality. Nakameguro. These are also made by them. If you stop by, you can view the entire collection, so feel free to ask any questions you might have. Similar to the breast-shaped mugs, these dolls have also become a signature item for us. They're recycled creations from the 1970s, each with its own quirky charm. I don't know their full backstory. Rumor has it they might be modeled after a hippie from back in the day, but I'm not entirely sure. Back when I used to wander through vintage stores, these were the kinds of items I desperately wanted but could never buy. Now I've finally managed to collect them. I've hunted them down for years, and now I might just own the largest collection in the world. Not that it's something to brag about, but it's a quirky achievement. This part here can be flipped up, but I'll leave that as a surprise. Come visit, check it out yourself. It might give you a good laugh. Up here, you'll see our original t-shirt corner, much like the sweatshirts you saw before. I start by sketching the designs by hand, then refine them with an illustrator. Since it's the year of the rabbit, I want to highlight this particular design as a nod to the current zodiac year. I often host events in Nara, which is why I created these deer-themed prints. Nara is famous for its deer. There are hidden elements scattered throughout the designs, including a well-placed breast motif. I won't explain where. You'll have to find it in person. Now this is our fitting room. These breast lights you see are an original creation I commissioned from my friend's father, who happens to be a plaster technician. We made about 5 prototypes. It was a bit embarrassing to tell my friend's dad things like make it rounder or have it protrude more. But thanks to those detailed instructions, we ended up with something perfectly shaped.
You were introduced to me just now as Surfer Girl by the shopkeeper. I run my own brand called the Creem, and we carry some of my items here. I focus on creating unisex pieces, and these hats are among my best sellers. I make them by hand, which adds to their appeal. I've also been consistently creating swimwear, featuring quirky original prints applied directly onto the fabric. They're perfect for summer. Another recommendation is this pack t-shirt. Even though we call it a pack tee, it's actually just a single shirt in a pack. It makes a great gift and is incredibly comfortable since it's crafted entirely from the base fabric up. Whether you're relaxing by the ocean or strolling through the city.
Actually, there's a back room I'd like to show you. Please follow me this way. We designed it to evoke a nostalgic 70s family home vibe, something like a cozy attic. I built it myself, mainly using reclaimed materials provided by the senior designer who helped with the front interior. We also repurposed leftovers from an art exhibition held by one of Surfer Girl's friends. Sometimes we host small events back here. Since I do all the printing by hand, you'll find all the printing plates and screens stored in this area. As for the future, I plan to keep on printing these risque t-shirts myself. I have this idea that if I'm still doing it when I'm 70 or 80, only then can I truly call myself the real deal. That's what I'm striving for. Genuine mastery through persistence. I'll keep going as far as I can. I've also started hosting live t-shirt printing events at local shops around the country, and I want to continue that for as long as possible. I'll keep at it for as long as I'm able. Thank you for your support.